Hello guys, today we're going to replace the brake fluid of the CBR650R. Just lifted up the bike, bought some new model DOT4 brake fluid, and after 4 years we're going to replace it because it's a little bit yellow. First unscrew those two bolts and then you can take away the filler cap. Do some paper around the reservoir because brake fluid is aggressive and can damage the paintwork. The level of the brake fluid is an indication also from how much the brake pads are worn. If the brake pads are almost worn totally, the oil level has to be just above the minimum level. You can see it after 4 years. The brake fluid is quite yellow. So we're going to replace it with a new one. Normally you have to replace it every 2 years. First we will remove the old brake fluid out of the reservoir. The best thing to do is to do it with a syringe, but we don't have one, so we will do it on this way. Be sure to not spill anything on the paintwork, or clean it immediately with the paper. So leave a little bit in the reservoir so there cannot be coming any air into the system, into the brake hoses. And after this we will fill it with new brake fluid and then replace the old brake fluid in the braking hoses. So you can see it over here. It's still a little bit of brake fluid in the reservoir, and this we will fill up with a new one and then flushing the system. Over here you can see the range, size 8, and the hose to drain the old brake fluid. This we will open every time when we pull on the brake lever and close it. So if you pull on the brake lever, at the same time you have to open it with a wrench and close it again, and then you can release the brake lever so that it isn't possible that there coming any air into the system. Filling up the reservoir with the new model brake fluid. The brake fluid from model is also quite yellow. Other brands that are have the color of water, but this is also a little bit yellow. But later in the movie we will see the difference between the new brake fluid and the old one. Here you can see the old one. So pull on the brake lever, hold it, and then beneath you have to open and close the drain nipple. So we will fill it up about 3 or 4 times, and then the hoses are flushed. And then all the brake fluid is replaced in the brake hoses. So pull, and then Marco will open and close it. So when I am pulling on the brake lever, Marco is opening and closing the drain valve. So it's the same level than it was. And now cleaning all the parts, because sometimes there's a little bit of water. Moisture on this plate. And if you place it back without cleaning that, there's still water of moisture in the brake fluid. So now Marco will place back the gasket and the white plastic plate, and then also the iron filler cap. So all the moisture is out and only new brake fluid is in the reservoir. So the iron filler cap, fastening the two bolts, and then everything for the front brakes is okay. You can see the level is the same like before we start the works. Now we will do the rear system. It's placed over here. You have to unscrew one bolt and then you can take it away. That bolt. And then we can flush the oil from the reservoir to the rear caliper. So with the 8mm socket, we unscrew that bolt over there and now we can take it away. And then with a zip tie we can fasten it on the bike and then remove the two bolts. Removing the two bolts over here and then remove the filler cap and the gasket and the white plate. The zip tie on it. We will do also a little bit of paper around it, so if we spill some brake fluid, the paint won't be damaged. So opening the filler cap, the white plate and the gasket. We will see if we see any moisture on it, but it seems that it's only brake fluid on the inside. It seems to be very clean, but the oil is also very yellow. So probably 4 years old. I own a bike for only 1 year. I bought it when it was 3 years old, but I did not have any maintenance history, so I do not know it. But probably it's 4 years old. So now Marco will use the wrench size 8 and do the hose on the flushing nipple of the drain nipple. It's the just size to slide over, so it isn't possible that there comes some air in it. See, you have to push very hard. Like that, and then remove the old brake fluid out of the reservoir. The best thing, like I said, is to do it with a syringe, but we do not have one, so we will do it on this way. With a hose, put your finger on it, and then every time do it to the waste bucket. So with 2 persons it's possible to do it like this, but a syringe is easier to use. You can see it after 4 years, it's quite yellow. And if you leave it more years in it, it will be black. I had it on a car that was 12 years old. It was entirely black. So filling it up, the reservoir, and now flushing the hoses. You can see the old brake fluid coming out. No air bubbles or something like that in it. So perfect flush. So push on the brake pedal. And when you push on the brake pedal, hold it and then open and close the drain or the bleeding valve of the bleeding nipple. And then you can loose the brake pedal. And if the level drops of the reservoir, you have to fill it up again, and like that you do it about 3 times or 4 times, and then the entire brake hoses are replaced with new brake fluid. Filling it up with new brake fluid. And doing the same thing like a few seconds ago. Repeating this 3 or 4 times, filling up the reservoir. And then if the level is the same like before the works, you can stop the works. When it's almost empty, filling it up. And now the level is the same in the reservoir. Removing the hose over here, cleaning everything. And then clean the parts that come in on the top of this reservoir, removing all the moisture. But there wasn't any in this case. This is Marco. Marco is cleaning all the parts and then closing it up again. And then we are good for the next 2 years. So all the brake fluid from the front brakes and the rear brakes are replaced. Closing the reservoir again with the cleaned up gasket. Placing the filler cap back on. Turning the 2 bolts on. And then with the bolt size 8 we can place the reservoir back onto the bike. Cleaning everything. Be sure you have not spilled anything on the paint. And then with this bolt we will fasten it on the bike. Size 8. We will remove the camera a little bit because Marco would not see anything. And then fastening this bolt. And the works are done. The level is the same like it was before the flushing. And that's how you replace the brake fluid on the front and on the back of the CBR650R. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye. So here you can see the new brake fluid. And at the left side it's the old brake fluid. So you can see that it is a big difference. So after 4 years it was needed to replace it.